Turkish Islamic preacher says men without beards cause indecent thoughts in other men because they look like women. Yes, it's definitely them looking like women causing indecent thoughts in other men. It's got nothing to do with those other men and perhaps their sexual orientations. Special thanks to my YouTube members and patrons for supporting the channel and supporting my content. How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to another subreddit video. You're gonna have to excuse the lack of war paint today. It's really hot and I'm legitimately sweating, and I've had to close my window again because for the second day in a row now, my neighbors have been blasting music because their neighborhood couldn't possibly want to enjoy a peaceful afternoon in the garden, in the sun, in the hottest week of the year, so they'll just blast music and subject the entire neighborhood to their poor music tastes. And when I say their poor music tastes are poor, I legitimately mean my neighbor is sat in the garden, just relaxing in the sun, in the garden, listening to Turn Down for What? Who just sits in the garden and listens to Turn Down for What? Anyway, wanted to clear that up. Today we are going to be looking at r/SapphoAndHerFriend, which is a subreddit about gay and just general LGBTQ erasure in media and in history and in conversation and LGBTQ erasure. And it's named after the poet Sappho, who famously never got married to any men, lived with a woman, spent her whole life with this woman, wrote poems about not being able to tell the truth, and then in history books went down as spending her whole life with her best friend. I think we all know the truth. Let's take a look, shall we? Biggest gal pals. Adele Menezes? I apologize for not knowing how to say that name. Sure, gal pals. Victoria Bergstrom, and nothing more. Yes, they were just such good friends. Stranger Things characters being LGBTQ+ is unrealistic. It's the 80s. There is a Demogorgon in the show. Be serious. And honestly, the argument doesn't make sense. Gay people didn't exist in the 80s? Are you sure? We had some of the most famous people in the world be gay. I mean, think for a second. Who in this world hasn't heard of either Freddie Mercury or Elton John? Both of which very famous in the 80s. And that's just two names. Also, there was an entire pandemic in the 80s of people dying from AIDS, primarily gay people, which is why there was nothing done about it, because the government was just like, well, at least it's only the gays. So yeah, gay people existed in the 80s. Oh my gosh, hi dad. I'm not saying how they wrote dad, I'm just saying dad. I refuse. We were practicing CPR. Just CPR, nothing more. Disney, we love to be inclusive and show representation in our movies. Impressive, very nice. Now let's see the Chinese edit. Yeah, I mean, genuinely though, like, Disney acts like it's this zenith of LGBTQ media and like, oh, we're so inclusive and we're representing everyone and wow. Even though everyone knows the history of Disney, everyone knows what Disney's really like. The LGBTQ+ stuff only matters when there's a profit margin, you know? The minute they might lose money in a country, suddenly it doesn't matter anymore. We're gonna give our movie to China so that they can play it and earn us money. However, China don't like gay people, so we'll just get rid of all the gay inclusivity stuff. No one will know. Yeah, we know, Disney, we know. One of my favorite stories that never made it into the diss. Two women physicians who graduated from the University of Michigan Medical School lived together, traveled together, and never married. They are buried next to each other as medical classmates. Yes, they were just classmates. That they traveled together, they spent all their times together, their lives together, refused to marry other people because they were just classmates. They were classmates. It makes sense, right? Every classmate refuses to get married to spend time with their classmate. That's the norm, right? Statue of Idet and Ruiu? I'm so sorry. Probably from the Theban necropolis, New Kingdom, early 18th dynasty, about 1480 to 1390 BCE, painted limestone. Statues like this typically depict a married couple. It was unusual for two women to be sculpted side by side. The relationship between these two women is not specified, although Idet seems to be more important as she is seated in the place of honor on the right. Yes, that we couldn't possibly figure out what the relationship of this sculpture typically depicting a married couple could be. It's strange, isn't it? You know, they do this sculpture to depict a married couple, but these are two women, so they must be really good friends. We just couldn't possibly figure out what their relationship was. Historians really do everything they can to skirt the line of saying two people of the same sex got married. A kiss between two women, photographed in the 1910s. Friends were really close back then. Yes, friends. It's always friends. How do people look at two people kissing and just go, must have been friends? People were closer back then, what can I say? Blanks when they realized Frank Ocean was talking about another man in all his bangers. The funniest thing is seeing people say, I just pretend he's not, or I just ignore it. That's some next level denial. Followed by, I just pretend he's not. People that don't understand when media that is about gay relationships is about gay relationships. It's like the Buzzcocks, right? One of their most famous songs, Ever Fallen in Love with Someone You Shouldn't Have? Ever fallen in love with someone you shouldn't fall in love with. That one. It's about being gay, by the way. That song's about being gay. So there you go. You learn something new every day. A bottlenose bromance. While the signature whistles of female dolphins will barely change throughout their life, male dolphins may adjust their whistle to mirror the signature whistle of their best friend. Male-male pair bonds are common in certain populations and can be stronger than the bond between a mother and her calf. We see this in Sarasota all the time, Saig says. These male alliances are extremely strong pair bonds, where the males are together all the time and they frequently converge on their signature whistles. They're just friends. They bond. They have a stronger bond than a mother and her calf. They're just friends. It's just a bromance, you know? Couldn't possibly be that once again we're seeing animals that are gay. Because, fun fact, it's not just humans. The fact that he did not produce a suitable heir before the age of 46 has been ascribed either to him being more attracted to men, although this is only reported euphemistically in the sources, or because he was too absorbed in his books to care for sensual pleasures. I probably said that wrong, may have dressed as a gulam, or a young man, to make herself more attractive to Al-Hakam, adopting a short haircut and wearing trousers. Although it's also possible she did this in order to gain better access to male-dominated royal court. Every time they're like, he could be gay, but we think it's more likely this. He never had an heir, and it could be that he just wasn't attracted to women such as his wife, but we think it's more likely that he just kept reading books, you know? And his wife dressed up and cut her hair and made herself look like a man, and it could have been to appeal to her gay husband more, but we think it's just because of the courts. They keep puzzling these pieces together, and it all adds up to Al-Hakam being gay, and they're like, but we think it's more likely that he just liked his books. It's so dumb. I just found out that the biggest couple of besties in my class were girlfriends, legit just dating. I'm the historian. Oh, it all comes back around. I feel like there's probably been cases of that in every school. Guaranteed there were probably a couple of same-sex pairs when I was going through secondary school, and no one realized. Everyone probably just went, they're friends. They're just really close. Wow. Yeah, that was probably a thing. And the final post. Assassin's Creed Odyssey lets you be as gay as you want. This takes place in ancient Greece, right? The Greeks followed religious doctrines, so they would kill somebody for being gay. Therefore, if this series, which prides itself in its historical realism, apart from the characters having an impact, is gonna add this, it's wrong. Lol, you think ancient Greece wasn't gay? I know ancient Greece followed Christianity. What? Oh, this is wrong in so many ways. Ancient Greece is literally famous for being gay. That's like one of the big things. Is like ancient Greece was really gay, right? Everyone knows that. How could ancient Greece follow Christianity? Ancient Greece as a whole started in 800 BC. How can they follow a religion that didn't happen for at the very least 800 years after it started? Not to mention, ancient Greece, it followed Christian doctrine. What about, oh, I don't know, Zeus, Poseidon, Hades, Hermes, Ares, so many Greek gods, which aren't a part of Christianity. How could anyone look at ancient Greece and go, I know they were Christian? That's not even LGBTQ erasure at this point, which it partly still is, but that's like the erasure of the whole of ancient Greek culture. How? And that's where I'm gonna end the video, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed. If you want to support me in making more content like this, then I have a Patreon in the description down below. Or equally, you can click that join button on the channel to support me. Helps a lot more than you might realize, but by no means should you feel like you have to. I'm going to keep making content regardless. Special thank you to Nix, Holly Miller, Kalrianne Mori, Chase Howard, Karen Duca, Top Shelf, Elle, Rennie, Dev, Thomas Penny, Emily Potter, Greyhound, Maxine Lankow, Gravity Gaia, Kelly Bock, Lucky Socks, Carolyn, The Angry Potato, Sven Arctic Fox, Abel Eros Winchester, Outcast Jupiter, I said those backwards, Ghost Orchid, Charlie the Med 256, Kate Cat, The Wings of Ruin, Two Lakes in a Valley, Ika Limchok, An Agent, Galaxy, Ronnie, Tam, Bug, Toxie Rain, Salted Denim, and Poet Blanderson for supporting the channel and supporting my content. Thank you so much, guys. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Peace out.